My brother, welcome back. Today we're going to go over the 7 principles of freedom. Now you might ask, what is that? The 7 principles of freedom are something that I picked up from a book. Now this book is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Now I've read it, applied it, so that you don't have to. And I'm going to break down in this video exactly how I use these things to take me from being an overweight drug addict, career criminal, to a man that's living his best life, traveling the world, coaching others, living the life of freedom that I always dreamed of. The first thing is going to be having a definite purpose. So basically, a lot of people are drifters. By drifters, let's give you an easy explanation. You know those guys, they work on a construction site, they earn good money, but they never really seem to be going anywhere. Why is that? Because they have no definite purpose. They don't know where they want to be. But if you flip that on its head and you know exactly where you want to be, you know exactly the man that you want to be, then you just walk the path to becoming that man. You look and you go, okay, cool. I want to be in great shape. I want to travel the world. I want to do X, Y, and Z. What's the requisites for that goal? And then you just reverse engineer that into a set of steps and you just apply those steps daily. Real simple. Not easy, but definitely simple. Then we've got self-mastery. Self-mastery, I define as being able to control your impulses and your thoughts, because thoughts become actions, actions become habits, habits become your life. And I'm sure some of you, a lot of you, have probably heard me say these things before, but I don't know another way to tell the truth, and that is it. Learning from adversity. Now, a massive problem that we see in men these days is a lack of grit. In my day, obviously, I'm kind of old. In my day, men had to have grit, especially growing up where I did, South London. If you didn't have grit, guess what? You were absolutely fucked. So this allowed me to start viewing adversity, viewing setbacks as learning opportunities. And then through every piece of adversity, through every thing that I conquered on my journey, I became better, I became stronger, I became wiser. And once that was applied, you can never look at a bad thing as a bad thing, because you're like, what did I learn from this? And you turn it into a stepping stone almost to your next level up. And then, guess what? I started winning. Now, this is going to be big, especially if you're in like a matrix job or you're around people that have a very small mindset, is you need to control your environmental influence. So basically control how much your environment affects you. Now I'm going to say this, really how I built my fitness coaching business was I worked on a desk in a gym, a very good gym. And people would come in the morning, I was on the early shift, so 5 a.m, people would come in the door and they say, how are you today? Now a very English response would be, yeah, you know, I'm getting by, I'm doing all right, mate. And people would say, Jackson, how are you today? I say, I'm fucking perfect, bro. How are you? Instantly they're like, what? Fucking perfect? It's 5 a.m. and you're standing behind the desk in a cold gym for a tenner an hour. How are you fucking perfect? It was because I wasn't allowing the environment to dictate my internal state. And then people started wanting to know, how can I be fucking perfect? And I was like, it's the habits. And then guess what? They wanted to work with me. Now, this isn't to say that you need to do that, but this is to say you need to control how much it affects you. Like, so what if everyone that you work with is a fucking drug addict, loser? It doesn't matter, because that's not you. Once you start showing that fucking grit, and you start showing that these things don't affect you, then guess what? You start standing out and you really become that fucking guy to yourself, but you also become a leader for the people around you, and then they start to follow you, so you become that positive influence. This is a good one. Leverage time. So the only thing that you own is your spirit, your soul, however you want to view it, and your time. Now, if you don't own your time, because your time owns you and you're scrolling and you're doing nonsense and all this stuff, like, I don't even know how many of you are going to have made it to this part of the video. We're 5 minutes in. Probably a lot of you couldn't even focus for that long. You clicked off like, no, I need to go watch some titties and all this sort of shit. Once you own your time and you can build those positive habits and you consistently show up for yourself, you're going to start to build discipline. And once you've built the discipline, then guess what? Then you've mastered your fucking self, my guy. Then you actually own your time. You own your thoughts. And guess what? You can build constructive things with your time. And then you're rolling. Because a lot of people, 90% of people, I would say, are drifters. They don't own their time, they don't own their thoughts, they don't own their actions, they're ruled by emotions, and then they just sit there scrolling all day. And then another day's gone by, another week's gone by, another month's gone by, and they're no closer to their goals. But if you own your time and you make every fucking day count on that journey, you're gonna move forward at light speed. Harmony. So you need to balance the mental, spiritual and physical well-being. So if you're not training and looking after yourself, then guess what? You suffer mentally as well as physically. Then every time you look in the mirror and you see that physique that you're unhappy with, guess what? You're lowering your vibration. Then you're showing up with a lower vibration in life. You're not demanding what you want. You're not commanding respect. Other people look at you and think, meh, dog, fucking nerd. And then guess what? You start to see yourself like that because we're very aware of where we are in the social hierarchy. And I know guys that are absolutely jacked out of their mind and everyone respects them. Why? Because they showed up for themselves. You can't fake fucking discipline. The physique says it all. It says everything. So when you show up and people know this guy takes care of himself, he's disciplined, he is exactly who I can see that he is, guess what? Doors start opening. And last but definitely not least, think critically before acting. What I mean by this is before you make a move, assess, am I being ruled by emotions here or is this my genuine desire? And then when we get to the desires, fuck yeah, now. If you listen to this book, you're going to see desire is basically the catalyst for all action. And then through those desires, whether pure or not, you act on those. So if you're being led by desire and emotion, you're always going to be a slave to this. So think critically before acting. My brother, apply these 7 rules and you will create the freedom in your life that you desire. Freedom from being dragged by your emotions. Freedom to spend your time properly. Freedom to live as you please. Let's get to fucking work.